Welcome back to another episode of Two Dicks Exposed. I am not Pat,
And I am not Mike.
and today we are going to be talking about more Nintendo stuff.
Yes, if you've been following us so far this month, we are starting from the beginning and we are working our way up, which will eventually lead to the orgasm that is
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
So what we have now is we have the Wii,
We have the Wii.
which is probably the biggest risk that Nintendo took outside of jumping into game development.
Yeah.
Because the last game system they had was the GameCube. Right?
Yes.
So now we're switching into the Wii, which is all motion controlled.
Yes.
Now to make this transition easy, the Wii is backwards compatible though. So you could still play Game Boy games on it. They weren't, or GameCube games.
GameCube games.
They weren't releasing like new games, GameCube-esque type deal.
Yeah.
But you could play all your old ones.
They did release some Nintendo games that did allow you to, like, there was there was a hearty amount of Nintendo games that released that allowed you to use the adapter controller, like you plugged into the Wii remote and you could play on a controller. So that was nice.
Yeah, because they also have.
They made
it was like the Wii Mini or the Wii
Yep.
Portable, where it looked more like a Walkman. Like you sat it down, like the top opened up, and you could put the games in the top.
Actually, the Wii that I still own.
Is it?
Yeah,
So
I have a red one.
I didn't know that actually existed until last week. I was like watching like fun facts on the Wii U,
Right.
and then the Wii and stuff like that, and they started mentioning that. I was like, when the fuck did that come out?
Yeah, I honestly did not know about it either until I was in that phase where I was gonna go back and buy a bunch of old video games that I love playing.
Okay.
Because luckily it was before the video game retro video game bubble was starting to build up. So I got in right before, so I was able to get a Super Nintendo and all that stuff. And I was
dope.
I'm gonna go back and get a Wii because I remember playing Wii bowling, right? We all loved Wii bowling.
Wii Bowling was amazing.
It was a fantastic game. But there was a couple other games, obviously, that we'll get into that I loved.
But I mean, while we are talking about Wii Bowling, though, I think we need to just kind of talk about what put the Wii on the map, and that is sports. Wii Sports.
Yeah.
And this is the console that made you active.
Wii Sports was definitely the game. The game. I don't know, from gamers like us to non-gamers like my mother, that was the game to play on the Wii. My mom literally wanted a Wii, as I was telling you earlier, just for Wii Sports and Chicken Blaster.
So this is also where another big transition in the gaming industry started, because with the 360 and the PS3, you start to see local multiplayer dying out.
Yes.
And things are transitioning all into online play. Nintendo didn't do that. They're like, no, we are a entertainment system for the family.
Right.
We're going to still put out games that the whole family can play. I mean, I don't know about the Switch now. I think the Switch is just 2-player. But at this point, it's still local 4-player. And I mean, the Switch, well, you can do 8 players on Smash.
Yeah, because you can do 8 on Smash. You can still do 4 on Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
But playing multiplayer on the little tiny Switch, no. But on the
the big screen.
Yeah.
Right. But that's one of the big things, and Nintendo is just kind of forging its own path at this point.
Yeah.
Because even with the GameCube, they still had they had the James Bond games, which had their shooters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And well, obviously they still have Zelda, which kind of competes with PlayStation's open world adventure games that they put out. But Nintendo has the family friendly games that everyone can play. And the big thing is, Wii Sports was out, that weird thing with the the pedestal that you stood on and it weighed you.
Oh
and
yeah.
all that.
Oh crap! What was that thing called? My sister had one. The Wii mat pads.
Something, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I think that was something different, but you could do yoga on that.
Yeah.
And
that's where we got the. It's where we got the Wii Fit trainer.
The Wii Fit trainer. Yeah.
That's. I didn't realize people loved her that much. They had to add her in Smash.
She's one of my main people I
She's
play
one
as.
of
I'm
your
not gonna
mains.
lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you play the yoga game a lot, Pat?
No,
Not
I
mine.
had no idea who she was until she came out in Smash, and I was like, let me try her.
They didn't know me until I came in Smash. The Wii balance board.
That's
that just makes sense.
And but it's so cool, and even now, they're still putting out, Nintendo sports resorts and.
I gotta point out just very quickly because I know we didn't even like write it on our cheat sheet. The Wii U, the Wii, and also the Wii U because you could still use the nunchuck. The Wii had so many like things that you could buy add-on wise. There was like a sword that you could use, a golf club, a fishing hole, the zapper, the wheel. Oh, there was the little add-on that you clip on to have a controller, the fishing rod, and the tennis racket. Yeah.
Well, it's got to the point where it's like even stores like Five Below are selling like
like
knockoffs.
the cheap plastic knockoff ones. Yeah. It was like the height of like weird knockoff things that you could buy for like a console.
Right. And like
the thing that I like about the Wii is also where you see like because it brings up the the original like wars, right? Like because the Xbox didn't come out until like the end, like mid PlayStation 2, like almost into the PS3 era. Like it was still new.
I want to say I was a sophomore in high school when it came out.
I was in middle school when like I know for a fact I was in middle school
when the Xbox came out.
When the Xbox One, like the first Xbox came out, not the Xbox One. You can't say that because Xbox there is an Xbox One,
the OG box.
I just remember like now you had the Sony versus Xbox, right? Like that was the fight now, and Nintendo, because this was you had Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube all at the same time,
right?
And the Wii was definitely Nintendo saying like
we don't want to be in
we don't want to compete
competition,
right?
Like,
and that's fine because Nintendo does not need to compete. Nintendo, you guys can fight amongst yourselves, right? Like, because what truly, at the end of the day, like, what icons that Xbox has that Xbox didn't pay for, right? Like yeah, now they have like all these like IPs that they bought and now they own, but like they have like what Master Chief and Crackdown.
That's like it.
Gears of War.
Yeah. They kind of shit the bed on the last time. So.
Yeah, and then you got PlayStation with God of War and like
not
Nathan
even like
Drake.
Final Fantasy anymore because
no Final
that's cross-platform.
No plot. Square Enix is about to be bought up by Sony actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's been in talks for a while now. I don't know if it actually happened already, but supposedly Square Enix is going to get bought by Sony. So
they each have
off.
2 characters.
Yeah,
Nintendo's rolling with 18 different lines that they're putting out.
Like, but then Nintendo has like 37 IPs alone, where it's just like we don't need to compete with you.
So here's another fun fact too. So one of the big selling points for the other systems at the time was they were now 4K compatible.
Yeah.
The Wii U decided not to become 4K compatible because at the time they said that not enough people in the world own 4K TVs, that it's not worth spending the extra money and hiking up the game system's cost just to like cater to the 10% or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
So they were like, screw it. We can make the game so much better and we can make the system cheaper for everyone to enjoy by not pumping all this extra money into,
I mean, look how expensive the Switch is in comparison to the PS5 and the Xbox Series
They're like
X.
$500 now, aren't they?
Like
$400 or $500.
The Switch?
No, the Switch is like $299.
Yeah, it's like $300. It's like $500 plus for I think it's like $450 starting model.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I love Nintendo.
Like Nintendo, I mean, they just put it out in the Direct, and I don't mean to keep going back to Zelda, but like they have their Tears of the Kingdom limited edition Switch coming out, and even that is only $350.
Yeah.
So
because it's the LED one,
right? Like it's cheap enough that I have a Switch and I'm willing to buy it, because it looks that beautiful.
It's $50 more for the LED,
right?
Like that's great. So we can keep talking about the Wii.
Let's bring it back in.
Bring it back Wii.
All right, so let's run down a list of games that came out for the Wii, just so you all can have that nostalgia flashback and be like, "Oh my god, I played that."
Besides the Wii Sports.
Besides Wii Sports,
everybody has that nostalgia.
Because that is the game that came out first with the system that everyone has. Like whether you want it or not, like it was packaged with the system.
You got Wii Sports.
You got Mario Kart 8, which came out on this one.
Mario Kart,
I believe, or
no, 8 was Wii U.
8 was the Wii. Yeah. You got Mario Party 9.
Mario Kart something.
You got Kirby's Dream World. You got Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yes.
You got Super Smash Brothers Brawl, which was a horrible, horrible follow-up to Melee, to the point where people didn't even play it. They just kept playing Melee. You got Metroid Other M. You got Metroid Prime 3. You can run into your other fun stuff, because I never played these games, so.
So, like, one thing I love about the Wii and the Wii U was the fact that it had the add-ons. And one of my favorite add-on was the Wii Zapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one of my favorite games in arcades, like, literally my favorite game to play in any arcade, and to this day, I will go and find it if they have one at any, like, even Dave & Buster, is House of the Dead. I love light rail, like, rail shooters. I love rail shooters. Like, do you know what a rail shooter is?
Only at the bar.
Okay, so yeah. A rail shooter is like your character moves on a specific track, and then you get to a stop, you get to a location, you stop, and then things come at you and you have to shoot
so like
it.
the Time Splitter games.
Yeah,
okay,
Time Splitters, House of the Dead. There's a rail shooters.
Okay,
so
you get, like, at
zombies
the
come at you, you shoot them, and then you move along the track, and then you get to the next spot, and you got to take care of those zombies, and you go across.
Gotcha. Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Snap is actually a rail shooter. So
you heard it here first, boys.
Oh my! I didn't even think about that until you actually pointed it out. Pokemon Snap is a rail shooter. Now, I imagine there's a mod out there where they turn
the camera
into a gun. I will.
There has to be, because I mean that was the generation of modding.
Yeah.
So
as soon as we're done with this, we take our break. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
We can wrap up the Wii right now and move into the Wii U, just because I mean they're kind of the same system.
Kinda. I also want to touch on just a couple more things real quickly. This is also where we got the Wii Shop. This is where we got the very first time where Nintendo allowed people to buy old retro games for the system, which was great. The Wii Shop was so great. Nintendo, bring it back to us. That's what we actually want. We don't want Nintendo Switch Online. And we also got the Fire Emblem Radiant of Dawn, and another game that I really, really, really love for the Wii was WarioWare, which is it's the best part of Mario Party. It's just a bunch of mini games.
Okay.
But it's Wario, so they're all like stupid ones, like balance the thing, and you have to like hold this like the weird weight on your head. It was such a fun game to play with friends, because like you had to do these dumb poses, so everyone's like doing like these goofy pose things, and it was just all fun. Everyone's just being stupid.
Something else fun we can mention too is the continuation of Nintendo's really stupid lawsuits. So with the N64, you had everyone digging up their palms on the joysticks playing Mario Party. And this one, you have people literally like shurikening their Wiimotes into the TVs and breaking like your flat screens and stuff.
Ooh, there's actually another lawsuit. But
there's another.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
cool.
yes. So actually, that's why we got the Wii condom. The big,
the big rubber like
thing,
Nerf guard that goes around.
Because of all those lawsuits, Nintendo released the Wii condom. That's not what it's actually called, kids. But that's what everyone calls it, the Wii condom.
Yeah, and they also sent out like the reinforced straps and stuff like that.
Right. That? Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, this is because this is strap. This is not a.
And I find it funny that they there was all these lawsuits, because before you start any Wii game, it says to like do this, kids. It literally says, "Oh, do this, and you won't get you won't break your TV." It literally tells you.
These are the original like straps that came with the Wii. Like, we never were stupid and never threw them at the TV. And now I can say I was overzealous sometimes and swung and hit a wall.
Yeah.
But it never like left my hand. But they did bring out like the extra reinforced like Teflon wire straps that go on too.
So there was a lawsuit. I have to bring this up because this is like, do not cut this out. This is like one of my favorite things. I love telling producer. All right.
Cut here.
There was a
Nice on! Nice birdie!
How dare you? There was a radio competition for like a free Wii.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So like, because the Wii was hard to get, so there was a bunch of competitions like back in the day, like be caller number 5, win these tickets, yada yada, do this dumb thing, we'll give you this, blah blah, right? There was a radio talk show competition, and it was called "Don't Pee for a Wii," where contestants had to drink a gallon of water within a certain amount of time, and the last person to go without peeing won a Nintendo Wii. A woman won the competition, right? She held out so long, but there's bad things that happen. So what happened was the ammonia backed up like in her pee, like it got into her bloodstream, and it caused her to have toxic shock and die. So like
Jesus.
This is an actual thing, and I always wondered. I never like looked it up, like because I saw it in like news articles and stuff like that. But I always wondered, did Nintendo give her kids like a Wii?
I would hope that's like the least they did.
I know they press charges against like the studio and stuff like that, the radio station and
I was
stuff.
gonna say that's not really like Nintendo's
It's not
fault.
Nintendo's.
That's
I'm just saying it's a lawsuit.
That would be a Nintendo thing to do, though.
Yeah,
because like Nintendo's also done things where like, a kid like drew a picture and sent it to Nintendo and was just like the letter said like, thank you for making me happy because my parents aren't happy or something like that.
Right.
And Nintendo just responds like, here's a free system, here's every upgrade available on it, like
right.
Reach out again if you need help or you want to come visit like our factory.
My art is like on the level of like a 4-year-old. Should I just
your
start
handwriting's just about there too.
It's just look at it.
Right.
Look at your nice actual handwriting and Wario wearing Rayman Origins.
Nintendo's gonna read it and they're like, oh, such a sweet kid.
Oh, such a sweet kid. Let's
Mike
send
from
him
America, 34. What? It's like,
No,
right.
3 and 4. It's 2 kids.
2 mics.
It's mics.
Mics.
Too many mics. So yeah, we could touch on the Wii U as well, which is actually like something I should say like touch on because like the Wii U just
is the touchpad game.
Yeah.
Now at this point I think the 3DS is the 3DS out at this point?
The 3DS I think is on its way.
Okay.
I'm like I think we're like maybe a year or 2 out from the 3DS because the 3DS was the primary console, like it was the primary console from 2012 until 2017. 2011. So it was before.
Okay. So we got the 3DS in 2011. We got the Wii U in 2012.
Yeah.
So this is Nintendo just releasing 2 systems that both have touchscreens.
And only one of them actually kept Nintendo afloat, and it wasn't the home console. The 3DS is the reason why Nintendo actually like stayed a reliable like video game company, because the Wii U sadly bombed. And a fun fact about the Wii U that I love, the year of Luigi, what I find funny, because like again, like Nintendo like gave Luigi its year, it's also the first time Nintendo had record-breaking financial losses was the year of Luigi.
Aw.
Like they lost.
Why is everybody hate Luigi?
I think they lost like some $750 million that year, the year of Luigi. Yeah. But interestingly enough, like I think it was like Forbes or like one of those like financial like newspapers, whatever, did like an article that year as well, stating like since Nintendo's been around since the 1800s, like Nintendo could lose $750 million a year, and it would take 54 years for them to go bankrupt. Like that's how much that company is worth. Like to them, like yeah, it sucked, but they were like, all right, we'll bounce back from this. We're Nintendo.
Yeah, especially at this point because you have the Nintendo Shop coming out, so digital downloads are a thing.
Yes.
So they're saving so much money on material costs.
Yeah, it's the Wii U was definitely.
I mean, they're charging $60 for a data transfer.
Yeah, I'm sad that I missed the like I remember I was having that conversation like should I buy Twilight Princess on the Wii U shop or should I hold out hope that we're gonna get it for the Switch?
Right.
And I was like, you know what, I should just go ahead and buy it for the Wii U. It's $50. If we never get it on the Switch, if I decide that I do want to buy the game, I'm gonna have to pay like $120 for a physical copy. And so I was like, I'll just buy it for the Wii U. And I was
Kind of crazy that you're having that thought 10 years after the game came out.
Yeah, I know. I my sister has the Wii U and she like doesn't use it at all. And so like I know for a fact that she owned Twilight Princess for the Wii U. And I was like, I will pay you like the cost of the game for this because like she wouldn't sell it. She wouldn't mark it up for me.
Funny that you mentioned it because I think I have it sitting in a box in that closet.
Dude,
right
I
over
will
there.
give you $60 for that game today.
Remind me in the break.
Right? Like
I could use $60.
today, like easy transfer. I will. Phone's right here. I
me a
love
Blue Ranger
Twilight
helmet,
Princess.
we'll call it even.
We'll get there, but I love that game with a passion. So some things about the Wii U that I find interesting again because Wii was the start of my video game like career, like working in like video game sales.
Correct.
Right. So when the Wii U came out, like I can tell you from someone who sold consoles, the reason why the Wii U failed so hard was the fact that no one understood what the Wii U was. We, as Nintendo fanboys, I mean, like I was at 2012. I was
22, 23.
I was 20. I was only 20 years old when this game
Nope,
console came
you're
out.
not mathing.
Not mathing.
No, you were born in 88.
22. No, 24. I'm 24. I'm 24 years old. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 24. All right.
Yes.
Or 22? You're 24. I'm 24. All
What
right.
year? Yeah, whatever.
It's 24.
You're
I'm 24. I'm 24.
I'm 24,
I
Mom.
was like, but like, let's be real here. Like, we were all still living with her. I was 24 and I was still living with my parents, right? I didn't have like.
I was living with the producer.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. I only ever went to that place once.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Anyways,
No, wait. I had finished living with producer and was back living in my parents. Yeah, at 24 I was. Okay.
But see, the thing is, like, we were just getting into the workforce, so like the Wii U was like probably our first console where like we had to buy it, right? Like
that makes sense.
like
Yeah,
we had to go out and like with our
physically
own money
spend our own money.
Yeah, like
on a system.
mom and dad weren't gonna like sit there and buy consoles for us anymore.
Right. It's like, oh, Christmas, you get
Yeah.
socks and sweaters now.
Yep. Which, to be fair, I love getting
I
socks
love
for
it.
Christmas.
I'm so
Like,
appreciative of it.
Thank
right
you.
now.
Every year, give me socks, please.
I just had to buy my own socks. It was 4 pairs of socks. It was $15.
You can never go wrong with giving me more socks. When did this happen to me? I
hate this.
I have a photo of me like at 16, like going like with socks like at Christmas, and now I'm like, shut the fuck up, 16.
I remember when I was like 15 or something like that. I could go to Walmart and buy like a 30 pack of underwear for $10.
Yeah.
And like now one pair of underwear, like one
$30.
pair of boxers is like $30.
Yeah.
And
This
is why I go commando.
the reason why the Wii U failed, truly, in my opinion, is the fact that like we as consumers we understood like what it was for, right? But a lot of the people who were buying the Wii U, like it's a family console, so it was still moms and dads, right? And at 24, we weren't dads yet,
No.
so we still weren't the target audience for buying this console.
Mm-hmm.
So I defer to my sister here again because like she is your my oldest sister is like the quintessential like what a mom is, right? She says stuff to me.
She has kids?
She has kids, and like she'll ask me things where I'm just like, girl, I know you know this, right? Like, but she'll ask me. So when the
She's
Wii,
like one of the people that says Pokemans.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So she came to me and was like, so for the Wii U, I just got to buy the tablet, right? I was like, no, it's a whole new console.
It's a whole system.
It's a whole new system. And I had that conversation with every mother that came into my game store. Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Up until like even when the Wii U discontinued, when the PS4 came out, people still were asking me like, oh, well, so like this box, it has a tablet, and I just hooked that up to my Wii U, my Wii, and I'm like, no, it's a new console. It's a completely different console. because I think where the Wii failed was the fact that its name was just too similar. Wii U.
Yeah.
People just thought that the U was like the additional. It was just like it was an add-on to the Wii.
Right. Like, you have the Xbox One, then you have the Xbox One Plus. Like,
yeah,
it's the same system.
Yeah.
But just one's better.
The best way to go about it would be go back to Sega Genesis. Like the Sega Genesis had like 14 different add-ons before they finally gave us the Sega CD.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which also was an add-on. So I think like if they just had called it something different, if they had just called it a different thing, I feel like the Wii U probably would have had a success. I think it would have, because like you're coming off the tail end of the Wii, probably the hottest video game console in the world, right? Like with its subpar graphics, because the graphics weren't that great. Nintendo's okay with that.
And I mean, like we got Mii's with the Wii.
Yeah.
So that goes to show what the graphics were.
Exactly.
Like I think Twilight Princess was like the
cutting
edge of what the Wii could offer.
And so like you go back to those games and you compare it to like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's like, yeah, it's bad, but like that's not what makes Nintendo games enjoyable. They're just fun. Mm-hmm. And so I think what failed the Wii U was just the fact that no one was buying the console, and that's why developers were backing out.
Right.
The console sales were bad, so they were like, well, we're not going to make games for your console.
But I mean, the Wii U though, in retrospect, did give us a lot of really cool.
It did.
Things.
Yes.
And like, so the Wii U's, for those of you who don't know, your controller is about a foot long brick, about
literally
like yay, and right smack dab in the middle of this controller is a screen. Now the screen was maybe only 3 inches diagonal.
It was like
if that,
very
so
small.
like just imagine a Switch, just DK mode, and
that's actually
But like you would play on the TV screen, but then you would look down and you have another part of the game on your screen. So like, if you are playing the Zelda game, like you would look down and on your screen is your inventory. So you could like cycle through bows, arrows, items, everything like that. Mario Kart 8, if you were playing on that, you could look down at your screen and it would be just your kart.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be 4-player split screen or anything like that. And, this is kind of like, this was the baby idea that eventually did lead us to the Switch.
Yeah.
So, they put this out there, they made all these mistakes, they figured it out. And as far as I'm concerned, the Switch is god near perfect.
Oh yeah.
For a console.
I only have one gripe with the Switch, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that when we get there.
So,
and then, I don't know what you were going to jump on, but the other thing that made this console great, though, is it also introduced streaming abilities.
Yes.
Which is ultimately what I ended up using this for.
Yeah. My cousin primarily used it for Crunchyroll. He literally laid in bed and watched anime on his, because it was a tablet.
It was a tablet. You had Crunchyroll, you had Netflix, and you had Hulu.
Yep.
So.
I was gonna touch on the fact that that's also why a lot of developers jumped off of the Wii U, was because the then president Iwata wanted every game that any developer made for the Wii U, you had to incorporate the tablet somehow, and a lot of developers were like, well, we don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. We'll put your game on there, and the controller can just be a controller, but we don't want to make the inventory screen be on the thing. So because that's more extra work. So they were like, we're just gonna dip. But that's why the Wii U was fun. You could do you were physically active. Rayman Origins did this. There was things in the game that you tapped on the screen and did things and it reflected onto the screen. I think the Wii U had a great idea. Just if people had bought it and the demand had been there,
right? I
think we could have gotten a lot. I think alternate world, they called the Wii U something else. It became a fantastic selling console. More developers jumped on. I think we would have had a turning point in consoles, because people would have realized that intuitive gameplay were
I'm going to put it out there. I think the Nintendo is going to be the first system that touches base on full bodysuit gaming.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to be the first one that dives into that.
I could definitely believe that.
It might not be good, but they're going to take those chances. They're going to try and move gaming into a different thing. And I could see them partnering up with VR, because I mean, you have the Oculus now, which is the Oculus is so much more than what virtual reality gave us 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
And if Nintendo develops their own type of Oculus,
yeah,
like
that'd be awesome.
can you imagine doing
Metroid Prime?
first player Metroid Prime, first player Mario Kart, just sitting there behind the wheel, just literally
Yes.
doing that? I mean, first person, fucking anything, first person Pokemon, like that's what the world wants. And
Yeah, give it to me, please.
right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah, so let's go over some other things as well. It's also where we got amiibos.
Amiibos I was huge into. The Wii U did fix a huge mistake that the Wii made, and that was they gave us Super Smash Wii U.
Yes.
Because the Wii brought out Super Smash Bros. U, or Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Brawl was horrible game. They took everything that made Melee great and they nerfed it. And then so Wii U brought out a different version, which is the first time you got like Super Smash Bros. Customizable characters. So you could go in, change their stats, give them different items to make. Like I made a super speed Ganondorf, and it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. I had a buddy that made a super strength Charizard that like he could only hit you 1 out of 10 times, but if he hit you, it was an instant kill.
Right.
And it was like fun stuff like that, but you could also bring these amiibos on, and I think Brawl had like 64 characters or something, or 48 characters, one of them, and they made an amiibo for each one, and you could actually train your amiibo.
Right.
And this actually got to the point where they started having amiibo tournaments at different conventions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so instead of like players coming in and actually playing in a Smash Bros. Tournament,
just put your amiibo
you would
on.
scan your amiibo, and your amiibo would just fight other amiibos, level up through the tournament.
That sounds awesome.
It was pretty dope.
If I knew that was a thing, I would have done that because I don't really care for fighting games, but like I would have trained an amiibo.
Yeah, so it's funny too though, because like I'm sure you know Pokemon dynamics about like EV training and stuff like that. You can do the same thing with an amiibo.
Really?
Yeah, like you can say you have an amiibo, you train it against strictly one character, and it'll like if you train an amiibo against a fox, your amiibo will only focus on becoming better at dodging and better at speed. Like it'll learn from the fox.
Right.
So you could train like a Bowser to be fast and dodge fucking everything. And like stuff like that ended up getting involved with it as opposed to just playing with amiibo. Like I thought I had an amiibo that was amazing, and then my buddy took it to a tournament and he's like, yeah, you lost round 1. And I was like, fuck.
Damn. All right. So I guess we should rattle off some of the games. We touched on some of these. So we had Smash Brothers Wii U, we just talked about Super Mario 3D World, which was fantastic. So much to the point that they brought it out for the Switch. A lot of these games actually did wind up making their appearance on the Switch as well. Mario Kart 8, fantastic, love that game. Super Mario Maker actually was the only truly relevant game on the Wii U up until its inevitable fall.
And we do see the introduction of another game that I fucking hate the series, but everyone else loves it. That's Splatoon.
Oh yeah, it's Splatoon. Yeah, sadly we did get Splatoon.
I hate that game.
I do not like Splatoon either, and I do not like their fan base.
And I think the thing I hate most about it is every Wii U or every Nintendo Direct, it's like, okay, we think we're getting Zelda. We think we're getting Zelda. We think we're getting Zelda. And then it's just fucking Squidbillies come out. And it's like, are you kidding me?
I don't care about this.
Like out of the 9 Nintendo Directs we've had this year, I think 8 of them
are Splatoon.
Their main showcase has been Splatoon.
And I'm like, why are you focusing so much on a new IP? Give us your old IPs.
Right.
Come on.
People are going to pay for Metroid. They're going to pay for Mario.
We also got Pokken Tournament, which I never played, but I heard fun things about it.
Yeah, this is kind of like where Pokemon started taking that opposite direction and getting away from just like the the guy running around. But Pokken Tournament was pretty huge. And it's basically it's like the old Uzumaki Chronicle games.
Oh, okay. And
Pokemon.
then another game on here that I did not write on here, but we also got Zombie U, which was an exclusive that Ubisoft made for the Wii U, which was tons of fun because it was everything that I always wanted in a zombie game, and it was done great. I like it has some hiccups to it, but the idea that I've always wanted in a zombie game is that I'm a zombie buff. I've watched a shit ton of zombie movies, and in zombie movies, if you get bitten, you
turn into a zombie.
You turn into a zombie, right? But in Resident Evil, there's so many times where you get bit, or in House of the Dead where you get bit, or any zombie game. What's that?
Dawn
game?
of the Dead or Day of the Dead.
Last of Us.
Red Dead Redemption.
There's something like that. Last of Us, and there's a couple other ones I can't think of right now that I'm getting like screamed at by anyone in the comments. Like, how could you forget these zombie games? But yeah, like you would get bitten, but then you would just use an herb and you're fine. And it's like, well then like
what's the point?
What like there's real world like outside of your character, there's real world like issues about this, right? Like this person got bit, so now you got to save them, stuff like that. Was that one Dead Rising, I think it was called, another game that like the third game, you're literally running around a mall trying to find stuff to get serum to help save your daughter because she was bitten and infected. But like you get bit like 1,500 times in that game, but you never get infected. I'm like, what the heck? So what I liked about Zombie U was that like you played as a character, no name, and you were surviving in like London, like zombie apocalypse. And if you get bit one time, your character died, and then you awoken in like a room as another character, and you could get your items back if you found your other character as a zombie.
That's pretty dope.
So you would go and you would kill him, and then you would take their backpack, and it was all your original stuff.
That's pretty dope.
It was so fun.
I didn't even know this game existed.
It was like it finally answered like a thing that I've always wanted in a zombie game, but sadly because the Wii U
didn't perform
as well. Zombie U sadly did not get the attention. Yeah, it really didn't. It's sad. But I think before we wrap up our Wii and our Wii U discussion, we do have to at least name the games. So
yes,
I'll take the Wii.
Yep.
We had Skyward Sword. I'll touch on that in our Zelda episode. Twilight Princess, which
we'll definitely
touch on that one, and Link's Crossbow Training. It's not it doesn't have a story to it really, but it's the reason why we got the Wii U Zapper, the Wii Zapper, not the Wii U Zapper.
And then the Wii U brought us a couple more, so I'm gonna end with the big guy. But we did get the Wind Waker HD remake on the Wii U. We got Twilight Princess as well as the one that the Wii had, just better graphics, everything like that. It was HD, which was the big difference. We got Hyrule Warriors, which is not the same type of Zelda gameplay. No. It's more like Dynasty Warriors, where you just play as...
It's a Taiko Konami or something.
It's literally Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, it's the company that makes Dynasty Warriors.
Right. And then the big boy dropped.
Yes.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Which, only dropped because Nintendo had made a promise that the Breath of the Wild was coming to the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
But like...
It took so long
in development that the Switch was now coming out. And they released it on the Switch, and they had to go back and re-release it on the Wii U because people just didn't want to buy the Switch yet.
Right, especially after coming off of the
Wii U was. Yeah,
right.
And so, because the Switch had the same issue, it only had 2 games when it released. Actually, I only had 1 game, Breath of the Wild, I think.
I'll say this right now. I
had 3.
I bought the Switch for Breath of the Wild, and since then I've only bought Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers. Oh. Those are the only 3 games I own on the Switch. But we will get to that.
Yeah, we'll get next week. Yeah. So that'll be it for the Wii and the Wii U. I think that's nothing else I can think of.
I think that's it. We're slowly catching up to where we are. So make sure you join us next week as we hit the handhelds leading up to the motherload that is the Nintendo Switch. I can't wait
to talk about handhelds because literally I bought the Wii U only because you could buy an emulated version of a handheld game on the Wii U. Like off the Wii U shop, there was a game you could buy, and I only bought a Wii U so I could buy that Game Boy Advance game and play it at home because I hate pirating stuff.
And that's why you're a true-blooded American.
That's why I'm true-blooded. I always feel like if you pay, I always believe that if you pay
and with that, we'll see you next.
It tells the company you want it, so that's why I don't pirate. I'm like, I will give you money, Nintendo. Give me the fucking games.
This is also the start of the Kickstarter to have Nintendo re-release Twilight Princess.
Yes, thank you.
Sign our online petition we haven't made yet. Someone start a petition and let me know. I'll sign it.
I will give you money for that game, Nintendo. Give it to me.
Maybe by next week we'll have it.
Yeah,
who knows?
Hopefully.
Anyway.
Like I said, I'll do the transfer right now.
All right. See you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
If you enjoyed that episode, make sure to join us here every Thursday on YouTube and Spotify as we drop new episodes of that good shit.
And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok for some solid filler content to get you through the week at Not Mike, Not Pat. You should be watching.